Welcome to today's podcast, where we'll be diving deep into the rich and complex history of France. We're going to explore its journey from prehistoric times to modern France.
That's right. It's a fascinating history, with so many different periods that shaped France as we know it today. Let's start at the very beginning. France's prehistory is incredibly interesting, with evidence of human habitation dating back over 1,000,000 years, right?
Absolutely. The prehistoric period in France is marked by the presence of Neanderthals, and later, Homo sapiens. The caves in Lascaux are some of the most famous remnants from this time, featuring those stunning cave paintings. What do you think about those cave paintings? They're so much more than just art, right?
Definitely. They tell a story of early human life. It's amazing to think that these ancient humans were already using art to communicate, express themselves, or perhaps even document their world. The paintings depict animals, hunting scenes, and symbols. It gives us a glimpse into their lives thousands of years ago.
Moving on from prehistory, we enter the period of ancient history. By the time the Romans came into the picture, France was known as Gaul. How did the Romans impact this region?
The Romans heavily influenced the culture and structure of Gaul. They brought infrastructure like roads, aqueducts, and cities, many of which still exist today. The Roman presence also introduced Latin, which eventually evolved into French. It's hard to imagine how different France might have been without that Roman influence.
Definitely. It's also interesting how the fall of the Roman Empire led to the rise of the Frankish kingdoms. We see the emergence of leaders like Clovis, who converted to Christianity and united the Frankish tribes. His reign marked a key turning point in the formation of medieval France.
Exactly. Clovis is often seen as the first king of what would become France. It's fascinating how the Frankish kingdoms laid the groundwork for the Kingdom of France. The medieval period was so turbulent, though, with constant power struggles and wars.
Right. And this is the time when the Capetian dynasty rose to prominence. They really solidified the monarchy's control, setting the stage for the more centralized state that would follow. But the 100 Years' War between France and England was one of the most defining events of this era, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. The war lasted from 1337 to 1453, and it was incredibly complex. There were major battles, such as the Battle of Agincourt, and key figures like Joan of Arc, who inspired the French to fight back against English occupation. Her role is pivotal, as she became a symbol of French unity and resistance.
Joan of Arc is a legend, no doubt. After the war ended, France entered a period of consolidation, and we see the rise of early modern France. This period is marked by significant political and cultural changes. The Renaissance, for example, had a huge impact on France's intellectual and artistic life.
Yes, the Renaissance brought with it new ideas in art, science, and philosophy. The period saw the reign of powerful kings like Louis XI and Francis I, who expanded French influence across Europe. And speaking of Louis XIV, he's often called the Sun King, right? His reign marked the peak of French absolutism.
That's right. Louis XIV centralized power in the monarchy like never before, turning Versailles into a symbol of royal authority. His reign also left France deeply involved in wars across Europe, which brought both wealth and problems to the kingdom.
The 18th century was also marked by the Enlightenment, where philosophers like Voltaire and Rousseau questioned traditional authority and promoted ideas about liberty and equality. It set the stage for the French Revolution.
And that brings us to one of the most dramatic periods in French history, the French Revolution. In 1789, the people rose up against the monarchy, leading to the execution of King Louis XVI. The revolution fundamentally changed the political landscape of France, shifting from monarchy to a republic.
The revolution also introduced the world to ideas of liberty, fraternity, and equality, although it was a period filled with violence and uncertainty. The rise of Napoleon Bonaparte after the revolution is another pivotal moment in French history. His impact was profound, especially with the Napoleonic Code.
Napoleon really reshaped Europe. He expanded the French Empire across much of Europe, and despite his eventual downfall, his legal reforms, especially the Napoleonic Code, continue to influence legal systems around the world.
After Napoleon's defeat, France entered a period of restoration, but by the late 19th century, it became a republic again. Fast forward to the 20th century, and France was deeply affected by both world wars. The Second World War, in particular, had a lasting impact on the nation, especially with the Vichy regime and the resistance movement.
Right, World War II was a dark chapter, but the French resistance played a crucial role in fighting the Nazis. After the war, France went through a period of recovery and modernization. The colonial era also shaped France during the 20th century, with significant events in places like Vietnam and Algeria.
And of course, France's involvement in global affairs continues today. It's one of the world's major powers, part of the European Union, and has a rich cultural and intellectual legacy that continues to influence the world.
Absolutely. From prehistoric times to modern-day France, the country's history is a testament to resilience, cultural innovation, and transformation. It's a story that still continues to unfold.
It's truly a fascinating journey. And that's a wrap for today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed this brief yet thorough dive into the history of France. Thanks for listening.